Imagine buying a dream home only to find out that your property taxes doubled or even tripled overnight. That's what happened to this homeowner in Winter Haven, Florida.
I felt like I'd been baited and switched. When you buy a house, I see the taxes at $2,700. I expect it'll vary a little bit, a few hundred, $1,000, but in no way did I expect it would go up 174%.
Unfortunately, there are many, many stories just like this one. The sad reality is many people cannot afford their mortgage payments because of this sudden rise in their property taxes. So let's talk about what you can do if you bought a house and your property taxes skyrocket overnight. Let's get into that right now. Before I get into this, I'm going to put out a disclaimer. I am not an attorney, a CPA, a financial advisor. I am none of that. So the information that I'm sharing with you here, when I share with you like things that you can do not take that as legal advice. It's not legal advice. If you find yourself in a situation where you can't afford your payments, you're struggling, please contact your lender, contact an attorney. Do not take what I'm saying here as the end all be all. Again, I'm not a lawyer, any of those things. I just want to put that out there. This is the most asked question I get when I'm working with a home buyer. They always share a story where their friend bought a house and within the first couple of months, their property taxes skyrocketed. And people think that they just automatically assume, oh, I buy a house, my taxes are going to go up immediately. Now, mind you, taxes do go up every year, but a small percentage because bulk of the property taxes are going to pay the school district. So when a school district votes on a new budget every year, and if there's an increase in the budget, your property taxes are going to increase. But what I'm speaking about here is that over the past 5 years, with the sudden rise in the home prices, the property taxes are rising right along with them. And homeowners have no warning and just getting slammed with this hefty tax bill shortly after they buy it. I've heard many stories in Florida and Texas where there's a rise in foreclosures because of this problem. Florida and Texas aren't the only ones that are dealing with this issue. Look here on this chart. Colorado in 2024, the median property taxes were $2,568. That was an increase of 52.9% since 2019. So in that 5-year period, it went up over 50%. But if you look at their home price growth, the home price growth went up 47%. Georgia, same thing. Their taxes went up by 51.5%. Their price growth, 65%. Florida, look at this. Median property taxes in 24 were $3,101. Their tax increase was 47.5%. Look at the home price growth in Florida from 2019 to 2024, 73%. Because of these rising values, homes are getting reassessed and they're changing the assessed value to match the current market. So that's why people are feeling the pain of these rising property taxes. Now let's get into how these properties get assessed. So obviously this is done by the local tax assessors and there's certain formulas that they follow. Now tax assessments can be performed either every year or every several years. It all depends on that local town's government or county government. Now, they use 3 methods in order to determine the assessed value. This first method is the sales evaluation. The assessor values the property using regional comparable sales. Now, in that criteria, they're going to look at the location, the condition of the property, and they're going to see if there's any improvements done on that property, which, a little side note here, remember, if you put an addition on your home, you're adding more square footage. Therefore, your taxes are going to go up. So just wanted to point that out to you. Just make sure you're aware of that. The other method is the cost method. The assessor determines the property value based on how much it would cost to replace the home. So the assessors do consider the depreciation and the cost of building materials to replace if need be. The other method is the income method. Now this is for, like, say, apartment buildings or multifamily homes that have rentals. In that method, they determine how much rental income that property will generate. The assessor also considers the maintenance and the management costs and the taxes when determining the value of that property. All right, so what happens if you wake up tomorrow, you go out to the mail, you get your tax bill, and it just doubled? First of all, don't panic. Don't panic, because a lot of people are in the same boat as you. The first thing you want to do is you want to understand your bill. You want to understand that assessed value. And the first thing you should do is contact the local tax assessor to understand that. to see how they came up with this number. You could even check comparables. You can check other homes on your street, see if there are homes similar to yours, and see if their assessed value is similar to yours. The next thing you can do is check for exemptions. Now, many states offer some type of property tax exemption. So depending on where you live, I would highly suggest start researching what property tax exemptions are out there and to see if you qualify. So for example, in Texas, they now have an exemption program where they will take off up to $100,000 off the value of your home. So if your assessed value was $300,000 and you apply for it and you qualify, they could take $100,000 off the value. So now your home value is $200,000. So you'll be paying taxes on $200,000 versus $300,000, which is really nice. Florida offers a very similar exemption where they'll take $50,000 off of the value. Here in New Jersey, believe it or not, they offer several exemption programs. They offer property tax exemptions for disabled veterans, for senior citizens. For senior citizens here in New Jersey, just a side note, they just came out with a new program. It's called Stay New Jersey. This program is for people 65 and over. And if you qualify, you could get potentially 50% reimbursement on your property taxes up to $13,000. Yeah, you think Jersey's desperate to keep people living here since we have the #1 outbound migration in the country? All right, I digress. New York State also offers a tax exemption program. It's called the STAR program. That's also known as the New York School Tax Relief Program. So when we lived in New York, when we were first married, up until about 12, 13 years ago, we took advantage of that program, and it was a good program. So research in your state, your county, wherever you live, research, go online, do the old Google search, and look up property tax exemption programs in your area. The other thing you can do is you can appeal your property taxes. You can challenge them and you can try to get them lowered. Now you have to come up with all the receipts. You have to show that, other homes were assessed lower than yours. And it's a fight. It is a fight. You have to challenge them. In some cases, people will actually hire attorneys that specialize in property tax appeals. And I highly recommend that's the route that you go. It can get a little challenging. And if you don't know the process 100%, you could be wasting your time. So it might be best to hire a professional, an attorney, to help you through that process. Just a side note, I wanted to mention this too. If you do appeal your taxes and you do win and you get your taxes lowered, more than likely, you're going to have to do it again the following year. Yes. I have good friends that did this in New York. They appealed their taxes. They got them reduced, but then the next year they had to go back and challenge them again. So be aware of that. In most cases, you're probably going to have to appeal them every year. And that could become costly if you're going to have to bring an attorney on board. If you're going to have to hire an attorney to do that, that could get expensive. Hey, just a reminder, if you're looking to buy or sell a home in your market and you don't know of any real estate agents there and you need to get connected to one, click that link down below in the description box and fill out the form, and I will happily help you get connected to an agent in your market. Now, I want to say, if you find yourself in a situation where your property taxes just blew up overnight and you can no longer afford your mortgage payments, what I recommend is you should right away speak with your lender, talk about maybe doing a loan modification. You may want to speak with an attorney that specializes in foreclosures to help guide you with that process. If God forbid you find yourself that you're headed towards foreclosure. Now, if you do find yourself you are facing foreclosure or a potential short sale, the other thing I will tell you is you need to contact a real estate agent that specializes in distressed properties. They specialize in selling foreclosed homes or short sales. Super important, because the process for those foreclosures and short sales, you're dealing with the banks, and you need to work with an agent that's familiar with that, that's an expert at it, because if you don't, you're going to get yourself in some big trouble if you don't have an expert working for you. The biggest piece of advice I could give you is, before you even buy a house and you know the area where you want to purchase your home, call that tax assessor's office to find out how often are they assessing the values. What is the assessment cycle? Because if you're prepared and you know it's going to be assessed, say, in the next couple of years, you can be prepared and maybe get some money saved to the side to be able to make those mortgage payments once those taxes go up. So I'm not here to scare you with this information. I'm just sharing this with you to help educate you and help you be prepared. Another concern that homeowners have is, what if they buy a house and the housing market crashes? Well, if you want to know about that, you can watch this video right here. Thank you so much for watching me today to get your dose of real estate reality. My name is Jackie Baker, and I will see you next time.